That's nice to see.
Welcome. Nice to see
The funny
you.
thing is with that Nicola is that, I mean, she's always been very strong, very opinionated, very powerful, forthright. And to see her unravelling a bit here is quite a shock.
Yeah, poor Nicola. She doesn't handle the vulnerable side of herself very well, and obviously because she always does see herself as this powerhouse within the family. She's the support, and yeah, she doesn't accept the help that's on offer either, because obviously she's got a great network of support with her friends and family, but she decides to take the route of lying that she's okay. And it backfires totally, as we'll see this week and next week.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you, because this is not over, is it? I mean, things are going to get worse for her.
They are, yeah. She tries to bury her emotions, her feelings, her fears, and unfortunately it develops into, as we've seen on screen, she's become agoraphobic, and then she becomes, worst case scenario, monophobic on top of that, which means she doesn't then want to be in the house on her own either. So it just basically, it's like a waterfall effect, you know.
Yeah.
She just spirals out of control.
And so I think you've hinted that there is an improvement and then it goes really badly wrong.
Yes, she sort of thinks she's gathered her strengths back, but then it gets worse and worse.
And for you as the actor playing the character, I mean, is this like a serious thing? I mean, have you got plans to spend more time with your family?
It's been a very good storyline.
But there'll be many others that you're looking forward to.
I can't tell you. No, I can tell you something does come up in the future. Just when you think this story may have been put to bed,
Right, OK.
something else comes along, and then obviously we've got our 50th year, and maybe something might happen that might mean she can't spend time in the village anymore. Who knows? I don't. They haven't written it yet.
Well done. You did very well there.
I'd probably be in terrible trouble. Sharon Marshall will be texting me in a moment saying,
What
the
are you
hell are you
doing?
doing?
Ask Sharon.
Yeah.
The fight itself there that we just saw, I mean, you had to bring in a stunt person to do that, because, I mean, it was a really physical fight.
We did. Well, to be honest, we had to bring in the stunt person because I had a hip replacement.
Oh, right.
So I took a couple of months off for a hip replacement, and they told me about this story, and they said, what we're going to do, we're going to bring you back and beat you up. Is that OK?
And I was like, no.
I said, fine, but I can't throw myself on the floor. So the stunt double did anything truly physical.
Right, OK.
Just because, obviously, I'm still healing.
And with all things like this, I suppose, it's tricky because you shoot it out of order. We
do. I actually shot all of the scenes that you're about to see this week and next week. I actually shot them before we did the fight.
Oh, right.
And it's because there was something that happened. I don't know if I'm giving too much away, but you'll like that. We actually filmed the ending to the fight. We filmed 3 different versions because it's going to affect the future. And they wanted to just play around with what the effect of the future would be. So I've seen the ending now because it's been on screen, and I went, they've gone for that one.
So now you know how it's going to play out.
Now I've got an idea. I've not seen those scripts yet, but I've got an idea of how it's going to play out.
Do you know, I mean, bear in mind, you've been there 20 years. Like, to still have that with storylines where you're like, her life is still twisting and turning and developing. I mean, what a character and what a role to have for you, just as an actor.
Yeah, she's been fun. The things I love about Nicola is, you get away with being vile to your friends all day and they're still your friends at the end of the day. And she's one of those characters that she sort of says what everyone thinks, but you can't say that. It's so rude. But I always think there's a sense of humour that comes with her as well. You know, she's not truly horrible. She's not a murderer. She's not that kind of villain.
She won Villain of the Year, I think, 3 times, didn't she?
But it was more that sort of jokey.
Yes.
Sort of, she's not somebody who's got. She's not like Paige's character who turned into a serial killer.
Yeah.
Although that was actually quite a funny role as well. Turned out to be, sounds bizarre saying that.
You haven't watched
being
them,
a serial killer. It's not very funny. I like Nicola because there's a good sense of humour around her. You can do the serious storyline, but, maybe before the 50th, if I don't die before then, obviously, I'll get a bit of comedy in before that.
You need to laugh after what she's been through, that's for sure. I mean, her I mean, you were saying that when she's sort of best villain, but she's changed so much in the 20 years. And your life has changed in the last 20 years since doing this. So, I mean, both of you completely unrecognisable from when you first started.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm older. Yes, more wrinkles. But, yeah, I've met my husband, Matt. I had my little boy, Jude. You know, so I've got a whole family up there in Leeds. Whereas when I started, I had a different boyfriend. We're still good friends, so I can mention it. I had a different boyfriend and I lived here in London.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, Nicola's developed and grown a family and so have I. So in many ways, we've mirrored each other.
And sort of mentioning the wins at the Soap Awards, do you miss it? One year you missed the Soap Awards because you were taking a beekeeping course in Leeds.
I did, yeah. I remember on Twitter I posted and said, this is my Soap Awards outfit, and it was a big beekeeping suit because I went and did a course for 2 weeks. Oh, sorry, that weekend it clashed. And, yeah, so I'm a beekeeper. I love it, I really do.
How are the bees?
They're really good.
Good?
Thanks, they are. They're really good. I'm probably going to take some honey off. Maybe in a couple of weeks' time I'll siphon some spring honey. But I'm always really kind to my bees and I leave them... Anyone who's a beekeeper will know I leave a full super on. So I've got some vegan...
full super?
It's basically I leave them honey over winter. I don't take all their honey and then feed them. I actually leave them some of their own food.
Yeah, our bees are here. But it's hard work. It's like a full-time thing. I mean, they've got help because they're sort of new to it, like yourself.
Well, I've only got the one hive. I have on occasions had 2 hives, and I think we were talking before that. I've had awful times happen where one of the hives, we call it collapsing, and it wasn't because of disease, and I still don't know to this day why they did. So I went, they made it through the winter, I put some food on for them, it came into spring, and I went in, you know, one weekend and they were all dead. And I still don't know why. There was no sign of disease.
Oh,
and sometimes these things happen. But what I tend to do, I'm a kind of beekeeper where I let my hive go. So if they're going to swarm now, I leave them to swarm. I don't try and catch them and bring them back because I don't do it commercially. I'm just do it for fun. So I kind of think raise some healthy bees. And
well, your folks get a lot of pleasure out of it.
They love it. They love it, and we do because we get to eat the honey.
Yeah,
the honey is amazing, isn't it?
Well, send us a jar of your honey if you get one.
And we'll send you a jar of ours.
Oh, all right.
Oh, the big honey swap. Thank you.
Thank you. Obviously, Emmerdale tonight at 7:30. Thanks very much. Right.